News, everybody. David Shuster here, the weekend of March 16th. It is almost St. Patrick's Day. Congratulations to everybody who's celebrating that. It's going to be wearing the green on Sunday. Fascinating time in Washington, D.C., and whether you live in Chicago or Columbus or Michigan or Oklahoma, or you're watching us on Take Action News TV on YouTube or listening to us online, wherever you are, all of us eventually are going to be impacted by what our government does in terms of a budget. For example, maybe there's a highway project or a water filtration system or something that our government is trying to figure out whether it should move forward on. And as budgets, as money increases, as they decrease, some of these programs will be felt. So, for example, maybe the road construction project in your area, in your state, which was set to employ, I don't know, say 5,000 people because there are lots of plans about where to build the road. Maybe if the road gets scaled back, then the road project becomes smaller, and maybe it only then employs 3,000 people. And so you can see how the impact on your local economy changes depending on what our government is able to do. That's the basic sort of example of government spending and how it can have an impact, how it can stimulate the economy. In the midst of all of this, the government spending on all of our programs, military, social programs, education, for several years since the Clinton administration, we've been running a deficit. In other words, we've been spending more money than we're taking in. And there's conventional agreement in Washington that we need to tighten that we can't be having the budget deficit as large as it is, that we need to make it smaller and ideally get to a point where we did in the Clinton administration, and that is where we're actually taking in as much money as we're spending, that the budget is balanced, or maybe we're even starting to pay down the debt. So that's the political discussion right now in Washington, Congress and the administration trying to figure out what are the priorities, where do we spend that money, and how do we try to tighten the belt a little bit, but at the same time, help the economy. Don't hurt the economy. President Obama is involved in these wide-ranging negotiations at sort of a macro level, trying to take big-picture discussions with Republicans and Democrats about, okay, what are our government priorities? What should our government be doing? Where can we cut to try to bring down the deficit? And what can we do, by the way, to try to continue to strengthen the economy? The president's discussions so far haven't really gotten anywhere. He's had a lot of discussions. He's reached across the aisle to Republicans, taken them out for dinner, had lunch with Paul Ryan. But as of now, there's still no broad agreement. But the president, at least a week ago, in his weekend address to the American people on radio and video, the president was optimistic about working with the other side. Listen.
But I still believe that compromise is possible. I still believe we can come together to do big things. And I know there are leaders on the other side of the aisle who share that belief.
Okay, so the president's optimistic that there are people on the other side who share the belief that compromise is possible. The problem for Democrats and for progressives is that when the president talks about compromise, it harkens back to the last big compromise he was willing to offer a year and a half ago during discussions, budget discussions with Republicans, and that is the president was willing to allow some cuts to entitlement programs, to Social Security, to Medicare, that the president believes, wrongly, I think, but the president believes we have to cut some of the spending in order to save the programs. And the president has proven time and time again that he's willing to offer some of that to Republicans who want to get rid of many of these programs altogether. Not completely get rid of Social Security, Medicare, but simply change them, which in my view would get rid of them.